I just entered my 51-year-old dad into one of the world's hardest fitness races. And this is him 3 months ago. A man who hasn't done real cardio since the early 90s and recovering from a dislocated knee and injured back. All in an attempt to relive a dream he left behind years ago. After coming back home for Christmas, me and my dad started training at the gym together. And around the same time, we got obsessed with this Netflix show called Physical Asia, a Squid Game style fitness competition where athletes from all around the world compete to prove who's the best. And one day on the drive to the gym, my dad said to me, "I wish I'd done something like that when I was younger, but those days are over now." And it stuck with me and made me wonder, does my dad need to be younger? And is there a race we could do together? So for Christmas this year, I decided to sign us up for one of the hardest fitness races to hopefully give him a shot at something he never thought he'd get the chance to do. However, he hasn't done real cardio in over 30 years.
Does carry chopping count as cardio?
His knee, elbow and back are pretty f***ed, and we have less than 3 months to train for this. So the question is, can we turn my 51-year-old dad into an athlete in just 90 days? And more importantly, will we even finish this? Let's find out. I've been so excited for this. So as you know, we've been watching a show on Netflix called Physical Asia. So I have decided to enter us into a HYROX, a Physical Asia challenge in April. But before we get into this, what actually is a HYROX? HYROX is a fitness race that mixes running with functional strength challenges. Athletes compete in pairs, completing a series of 8 workout stations. And in between each station, there's a 1 kilometer run. You're racing against other people to complete the course as fast as possible, with the average time being around 1 hour and 20 minutes.
Oh my god.
There was one small problem. I leave the UK in May, and after a lot of searching, I couldn't actually find a HYROX that worked. Either completely sold out in a different country or just not enough time to train. So the race we're entering is actually called KELTX.
3 words to describe the first ever KELTX event. Massively fucking epic.
However, it's the exact same concept. A few of the workouts are just switched. Okay, so you've done a HYROX and a KELTX. Which one do you think is harder?
You know what, they're just both
But otherwise, it's said to be pretty much the same difficulty level. Either way, this is going to be hard. But before we even start training for this, I wanted to see where our baseline fitness was at. So I took my dad for his first ever run in almost 20 years. So we're going to do a little test on the treadmill now. See what we're working with. How long has it been since you've done any cardio?
Does carry chopping count as cardio?
Alright, we're starting at 1.5. Let's go. Alright, maybe we go up to 6. This is where we can try a jog. How's that feel? What injuries do you have so far?
Dislocated knee from a couple of years ago and something wrong with the bottom of my back, so it kicks out over a couple of months.
Alright, we're halfway. See, how's that? Not too bad. With the run going surprisingly pain-free, thought it'd be good to test out a few of the other exercises that we'll be doing in the race. Have you ever done a burpee?
A what?
Do you know what a burpee is? So overall, that actually went a lot better than I expected. And my dad actually managed to do a lot more of the exercises than I thought his back and his knee would allow, which is a good sign. However, if we're going to compete in KELTX, one of these HYROX-style races, it's almost all cardiovascular endurance. And on top of that, we've still got a few recovering injuries that we're going to have to keep an eye on. So if we're going to finish this race without completely evaporating, we're going to need to lock in. So here is my big brain plan. Month 1 is mobility and running. This is rehab for the back and knee and just fixing those injuries and building a base level of cardio. Month 2 is strength and technique. We'll attempt the race workouts with body weight or light weights, just kind of getting used to the movements until we get the technique right. And month 3 is where we step it up, building towards competition weights and times, running the full distances and then chilling out 2 weeks before the race. If we follow this plan correctly, hopefully in 3 months we'll not only be fit and healthy enough to race, but we can also give everyone else a run for their money and compete in this event as well. Which at the time all felt very manageable, but in hindsight, maybe that was a little optimistic. Oh, we're upgrading, team. Let's go. First session, how you feeling?
Amazing.
We're taking my dad on his first ever cardio session. It's going well. Kettlebells are in, shorts are on, shoes are on.
Glasses are up.
Glasses are off. Crazy sight. 8, that's 2. 10. Light work. So for the next couple of weeks, we just continue to keep training, focusing on doing 3 cardio sessions a week and 1 strength session. Just trying to build up that base level of fitness and most importantly, not get injured.
Don't push it, yeah, it's gonna hurt you.
I even managed to trick my dad into doing a virtual spin class. Things were going pretty well, but there was one thing we definitely needed to improve on.
Go on. That's right. Whew, that was pretty cooked.
Nutrition. So my dad grew up in a working class family in the Midlands during the 90s, where smiley faced potatoes and turkey dinosaurs were the peak of nutrition. And although he's got pretty wham from lifting weights, the diet hasn't really changed much. So I decided to put together a little presentation to finally try and break some old habits. Like I learned this in sport and it's stayed with me. Your body is like a car. Protein is the engine, carbs are the fuel, fats is the oil, fruit and veg is servicing and maintenance. So right now you've probably got a fucking massive engine, but you're only putting in a tiny bit of fuel. And you say you have a lot of energy, but imagine if you ate properly like an athlete, how much more energy you'd have. You literally just have to pick one of these things on the list you like. Here's an example: pasta, chicken, broccoli, olive oil. Boom. That's all you need. We're gonna smash it. Yeah! And it actually worked. Chocolate became fruit, sweets became vegetables. And once that was locked in, we were flying. Definitely a lot of tough sessions.
How'd you find that?
And a lot of getting used to new exercises. But overall, things are going pretty well. But there was still one major factor we need to work on: running. That's the one thing in this race we both have to do in full. And if we can't conquer this, the rest of the race is going to be extremely painful. That's why we've come to the racetrack. When was the last time we went on the racetrack?
I haven't been on a racetrack.
Dad's never been on the racetrack before. Any last words?
I love you all.
So the plan is to do the race length, 5.6k, getting progressively faster each time. And then we're going to basically find our pace and figure out how fast we're going to run. So let's go. Have a little feel. Nice, isn't it? 2 laps of this is 800 meters. So we've got to do 14 laps of this.
Okay,
it's gonna be fun. So after a quick warm up, we headed out for our first few laps. Things are actually running pretty smoothly.
How are we feeling?
Okay.
This one, I'll go slightly faster, a tiny bit. Ready? Let's go.
Born ready.
So I gradually started to pick up the pace a little bit. Turns out we might have spoken a little too soon.
Get our breath.
Can't really breathe through my nose because it's like permanently blocked.
I think mouth breathing is better.
That's all looking.
Yeah. Quickly worked out that the furthest we could run in one go was about 800 meters. After that, we need to walk or take a short break.
I was honestly thinking like last night, I was like, what if I do 400 and I'm fucked going all that way? Oh, I can't. I gotta go through at least half of it or something.
At that point, 5.6k still felt like a very long way away. So we just broke it down. Small runs followed by short walks over and over again. And after a few very uncomfortable laps and a lot of heavy breathing, we finally made it to the home stretch.
Woo! You ready?
No.
Go, we got the beans back. That's 200. Let's go. Boom. And that is 5.7 kilometers in the bag. Woo!
We've just ran 5.6 kilometers, the KELTX HYROX distance, post-match debrief. How you feeling?
Yeah, it's a good warm up.
It went pretty well. We had to walk some of it, but
About 5,100 meters.
you're not in cardiac arrest. Your knees
I
are
felt
fucked.
fine.
Your back isn't fucked. So I think that's a win.
Just a lack of breath.
Let's go. We had our cheerleading squad in the background. Whole family affair. On to month motherfucking 2, where we get bigger, we get stronger, we get faster, and we pummel the competition to the ground. However, there was one issue. I had to go up to London for a bit to work, and then was off to film another video in Belgium, which meant we'd have almost 3 weeks without being able to train together. However, we both still planned to lock in and keep up with the workouts. But between work and filming other videos, it was hard for me to keep to the schedule, and I had no idea if my dad was doing the same. And before I knew it, the whole month had gone by without a single session together, which was a little bit daunting. And it is month 3, less than 4 weeks away from our event, and me and my dad still haven't trained together. So we are here back at the gym. We're going to do a race simulation where we do half the running, the rest of everything else, to see where our benchmark's at and see if this month not training together is going to fuck us up. So let's fucking do this. You ready?
Oh yeah.
Let's go. Starting with a run. That's going to suck as the first exercise. Another run.
That's hard, eh?
How you feeling after the row?
Did you just do a row?
They absolutely suck. I don't think those burpees are going to be that hard. Final run. Alright, final fucking exercise. We've got to do 20s on the day, so should we do 16? Siete. 8. 9. Yes. Alright, post-match debrief. Holy shit. You know what, the things that I thought were going to be hard was the lunges and the kettlebells, but they felt the easiest. Burpees, fucked. Skiing, fucked. Bike at the start, fucked.
Rome's alright.
Rowing's okay.
Well, that's the bit where you walk between exercises. That's
Walking between exercises is good. Even the running, that sucks. And we've got to do double that.
Cheers, fam.
Fuck. We did it. I think that race simulation went pretty good, but we were doing half the running, lower weights, and walking and chatting in between each exercise, and we were still absolutely cooked. And there is still 3 exercises I'm a little worried about. First one is the sandbag lunges. On the race day, we have to do 100 reps with a 30 kg bag. The highest we've got is 20 kg, without him being in some kind of pain. The next thing is the American kettlebell swings. We have to swing a 20 kg kettlebell. We haven't gone higher than 16, as my dad has a lot of lower back problems. Whenever we get a bit higher, it starts to feel a bit weird. And the third and final thing is still the running. Although we have been working on this every single week, we haven't quite managed to get up to the full 5k distance non-stop, and the running is still the part my dad hates the most. And right now we have just under 3 weeks until our race, which means we have only about 2 weeks of training left, so we're gonna have to lock in. It's race day, my friend. It's a race day. You ready?
No. Are you ready?
Born ready. We started off strong, good nutrition, good breakfast, and headed our way to the race arena. And when we got there, it was packed. And suddenly all the adrenaline and nerves started to kick in. And I could see the fear starting to creep into my dad's face. And this was it. 3 months of sweat, more sweat, and hatred for running. It all come down to this one day. Before we knew it, we were at the start line and our heat was about to begin. First run went well. We had to do 4 laps of this track. The adrenaline was flowing, the crowd was pumping. We're feeling good. We rolled on to our first station, which was a 2.5k cycle. And everything online says don't go crazy too soon or else you'll fuck yourself up for the rest of the race. So we plan to just do this bike at a good, chill, leisurely pace. And that plan went completely out the window. We came into the bike kind of last in our heat, and we were seeing people around us. And for some reason, me and my dad just decided to go full speed, full ham. Let's go. But that quickly turned out to be a very silly idea, because we didn't realize until we got off the bike and started that first run that our legs were completely full of lactic acid. I was wobbling like a pregnant woman, and I turned to him and went, my legs are fucked. And he turned to me and went, I'm fucked. And that next 4 laps was probably one of the most painful, which led us onto the next station, which was 100 American kettlebell swings. With the official race weight being a 24 kg kettlebell, and with my dad's back problems not being able to train this, it was definitely scary going into this. But it was a good job we had 3 weeks to train for it. With that dust in the third run going pretty well, we rolled on to our next station, 1,000 meters on the ski erg. So our plan was to do 250 each and keep swapping. We started off sticking to that plan. All of a sudden, the cardio tax man came and demanded his payment there and then. And it went from 250 to do as much as you can till you're fucked. I can safely say that we both came out of that absolutely cooked. These runs started to get slower and slower, but soon enough we were at the next station, 100 reverse lunges with a 30 kg bag. With my dad's dislocated knee and broken toe, this was the other station that we knew would cause some trouble. However, we had a bit of a special weapon here, because I've actually been filming a TikTok series where I climb up the most fucked set of stairs I can find in Europe for another video, which meant that my quads and my ass cheeks were well equipped for this specific station. And after a little bit of pain, we managed to tick this off the list as well. The next station was the 1,000-meter row, and luckily, we weren't too bad at this. However, this next run was absolutely terrifying. Not because of the distance of the run, but because we knew what exercise was coming up next. 100 burpee broad jump returns. And the thing is, from training these, we knew these were going to be fucked. We knew this was going to be painful. We knew this was going to break our soul. Even still, these were absolutely disgusting. I looked at my dad and went, I'm about to throw up. And my dad looked at me and said the exact same thing. And all I could think about in the corner of my eye was how far the bin was from this exercise if I needed to go chunt. For her only to say, okay, you're halfway through at 50. And after being so fucked after halfway, we started to think, oh, we're actually gonna do this. Oh, we're actually gonna finish this race. We weren't going to let all this training go to waste, and with a bit of a crowd morale boost and a lot of blood, sweat and painful tears, we smashed out all 100. And I was so delusional from this, I missed this girl's fist bump. I apologise. And this was it, our final 4 laps of the race, and soon enough we rolled into the final station, which is 100 wall balls. That was it. 3 months of training, 3 months of preparation. And we went from not being able to run 800 meters, doing a full 5.6k with all these workouts in between. Being able to do it all with my dad is honestly probably one of the coolest things I've ever done. And Dad, I know how much you hate being on camera, so I respect it. Either or, that has been so much fun. If you're not subscribed, then what the fuck are you doing? Press the subscribe button, you little freak. We've got so many fun videos planned for this year. So lock in, and I will see you in the next one. Adios.